Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from WHUMUN Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Good afternoon. I hope you are having a very pleasant bank holiday Monday. Welcome to Forged from Iron, and as it says there, please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. We're here to discuss Premier League Matchday 35 of 38 that took place yesterday evening at the London Stadium. West Ham United played the once mighty Manchester United. Now, before I get into it, yes, I know Duke's not here. It's gone mad at the pub. Someone's phoned in sick. He's got to do a double shift. He sends his apologies. It is what it is. So it's just going to be me waffling on incoherently, and you guys can sort of come back at various intervals. So yeah, it was it was a game that started off. I didn't actually go. I was meant to go to the game, but I had to travel down to Herne Bay in a little bit further out into Kent from where I live. My daughter had a game of football. By the time I come back, I've got to be honest with you. I mean, those of you that watch the channel know that I started a new role at my company last week, and I just felt shattered. I've got to be honest with you. I felt absolutely shattered, and it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, and I was just like, I felt so flat. I felt flat as a pancake, and I was just like, I can't. And so that I didn't end up going. I ended up staying at home and watching it on the telly. And obviously it's one of those now, with the benefit of hindsight, I wish I'd have gone, but it is what it is. I watched it on BT Sport, and oh my word, how biased is the do you know what? It's probably something that I've always sort of had going on around me, and I've probably never really been looking out for it. The more and more people have pointed out how biased a lot of the punditry, how biased a lot of the commentary seems to be, the way that things are portrayed in the media to try and paint the top 6 clubs in as best a light as possible, to the detriment of their opponents who are outside of that elite, illustrious club. It's something that I probably never noticed before, but the more and more people have drawn my attention to it, the more and more I'm sort of going, wow, this is hidden in plain sight, isn't it? It really is. You watch the I've seen a few times now where there'll be a game that involves one of the top 6 clubs, and whether it's Sky or whether it's BT that's doing the live feed, on occasions, a number of occasions actually, I've seen it where they'll get the punditry team in, and there'll always be a representative of the top 6 club, but not always necessarily of the club that they're facing. So let's say Manchester United are playing, just for argument's sake, Fulham. So you'll always have Gary Neville on the punditry. You'll always have probably Roy Keane on the punditry. But then you'll be looking and you're going, well, where's the representation from Fulham, for example, or Brentford, or West Ham? Now, all right, yes, BT did have representation. I mean, yes, you could probably make the case that Rio was a representation of West Ham, but I don't buy that. I would say Joe Cole would be a representation of West Ham that BT had, but I've seen it a lot of times. Yet whenever there's a 2 top 6 teams going against each other, you've always got a pundit representing one team, and you've always got another pundit representing the other team. It's really quite uncanny. But like I say, it's something that it's. I guess Duke is probably a bit of a catalyst for this. He's always banged the drum about certain things going on. A lot of it to do with referees, and we'll get onto that. But I'm just talking about the media sort of positioning, whether it's bias unconsciously or just downright they don't give a shit, and they're doing it whatever. I mean, even I'm looking on the Sky Sports YouTube channel. Just sort of watched the highlights, and they've got it painted De Gea Howler. Hang on, let me just get it correct. De Gea Howler in big capital letters. The words Howler gifts Benrahma winner. Doesn't give us any real credit. It basically points all of the credit, if you will, for us getting a win. It's all down to David De Gea. Nothing to do with the hard work that they put in, that our boys put in for 90 minutes of that match. They've got a better squad than us. They've got a better starting 11 than us, man for man. Let's be completely honest about it. So the fact that we came away with a win will give us a little bit of credit, for Christ's sakes. But it's always like that, If that had been the other way round, I'm not quite sure they'd have made such a play that the only reason that it came about was because De Gea slipped. Well, boo-hoo, tough shit, But anyway, let's get on to the game. I mean, I was watching the game, and I've got to be honest, the first 10, 15, 20 minutes or so, I've got to be honest, Man United ripped us apart. I thought they were coming forwards, they were getting shots away. Nothing was terribly accurate. There was a couple that whizzed wide and whatever. Fab didn't really have too much to do other than sort of watch the balls travelling past his post or whatever. But I just felt that Man United at that point were really sort of motoring. And at that point, I was really, really concerned. But then obviously Benrahma picks up the ball. He's travelling with it. He hits a shot. And look, it's not the best shot he's ever hit. I'm not going to lie. He's hit better than that and not scored. And he'll do that again, I'm quite sure. He hits this shot. And De Gea, I mean, to be fair, it was an early shot by Benrahma. But yes, De Gea should have done better. It's quite interesting. I mean, De Gea, I remember he was touted as one of the world's best goalkeepers. And I thought he was an excellent goalkeeper some years ago. I think it was one of the World Cups, wasn't it? It was not the one they've just had in 2022. So it must have been the one before, the one in Russia, 2018. And didn't they Spain played Portugal from memory, I think, in the first game. And it was a 3-3 draw. I think Ronaldo got a hat-trick. And De Gea didn't play well at all. And basically, from that moment on, his careers sort of seemed to have petered out. And he's not the goalkeeper he was back then. It's a slip you can turn around and say, but he should save that. But I really couldn't care less. Balls hit the back of the net. London Stadium's exploded. I was on my couch over there. I've jumped up, roaring away as you do. We're off and running, and I do think that was very much a catalyst for them what unfolded in the remainder of the match. We started to to believe. You could see that there was a definite shift. Confidence was up. We were starting to try things. We were playing with an awful lot more courage than we had been playing up to that point, in my opinion. Although we'd been resolute and dogged and determined in defence up to that point, now all of a sudden, offensively, we started to grow and we started to ask questions of Manchester United that up to that point we really hadn't done. Now we're going to talk about an event that took place at the end of the first half. We'll get on to another event that took place in the second half. You probably know the two events I'm going to reference. And I probably shouldn't go on about this too much because let's be completely honest about it. We won the game and we've pretty much ensured that we're going to be a Premier League club next season. Pretty much. Now, I'm aware there's some comments coming in and I'll get to that in due course. I just want to have a little vent at this point. My YouTube channel. If I want to vent, I will. And if you want to listen, you'll stay. And if you don't, then you'll bugger off and leave me alone. Hopefully you won't. I hope you'll leave your comments and get involved. But so the handball, I can't work out. I can forgive and I've said this before. When there's a decision that the on-field official doesn't make, that we're all looking and we're watching it replays on our phone or on the telly or whatever, and we can obviously see it slowed down, zoomed in, various different angles, blah blah blah. Referee's got to make a decision. The referee on the pitch has got to make a decision. Now, the referee on the pitch was a Mr. Peter Banks. Now, he obviously didn't give the penalty. So you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, surely VAR's got to have a look at this. Now, the VAR, in case you're not aware, was Stuart Atwell. His assistant was Darren Cann. Darren Cann is an assistant referee, linesman in old money in the Premier League, and Stuart Atwell is a referee. People with a long memory might remember that about 15 years ago, Stuart Atwell actually gave a goal that wasn't a goal. It was a goal that should have been given as a corner. It didn't even get into this. It didn't even go between the posts and under the bar and over the line. It should have been a corner, and somehow this idiot gave it as a goal. Yeah, all right, that was 15 years ago, but I'm just painting a little picture of what we're dealing with here as far as a competency level is concerned. Anyway, so handball, yes or no? Well, as far as I'm concerned, Lindelof has moved his arm towards where the trajectory of the ball is heading towards. He's also made his target area bigger. He's made himself more of an obstacle than would have otherwise been the case. His arms come out like that. There's no doubt about this. And if you want a sort of a barometer of this, well, all three of the pundits, Peter Crouch, who has no reason, he's got no affinity one way or the other to either team. He's a former Liverpool player. He's a former Tottenham player. So he probably hates each team equally, if we're being completely honest, because he's been on the sides of both the rivals of these particular teams, West Ham and Manchester United. He said it was a penalty. Joe Cole said it was a penalty. Now, all right, you could turn around and say, well, Joe Cole, he's got certain West Ham leanings. He probably would, wouldn't he? Well, Rio Ferdinand, despite the fact that Rio Ferdinand came through as a West Ham Academy graduate, let's be honest, he spent most of his career and got pretty much all of the medals that he has in his collection, and the majority of his England caps he got as a Manchester United player. So he will have his leanings towards Manchester United. No ifs, no buts. And he said it was a penalty. So all three pundits have said it's a penalty. They then turned to Peter Walton in the studio. Now, Peter Walton usually will toe the party line. He will usually be, well, the reason the referee's giving it is da-da-da-da-da-da. He said it was a penalty. Straight away, you're like, so that's four people, one of whom's a former referee, Premier League referee, three of whom are former players. They've all said this is a penalty. I thought it was a penalty straight away. Obviously, Peter Banks didn't. And as I say, I can possibly give him a little bit of leeway because I don't know, maybe the angle he was standing, maybe it happened so quickly, his view was obscured. But the VAR, I don't understand how the VAR has missed that. I really don't. That is a penalty. Now, I mean, and David Moyes said this the other week when we didn't get the one against Liverpool. And he turned around in the interview after the game and he turned around and he just asked a question. And it was a rhetorical question because I think we all knew the answer. If that happened at Anfield, other way round, do you think that's given? I think we all know the answer, don't we? You know, that one against Liverpool, if that was West Ham in front of the Kop at Anfield, is that given as a penalty? Don't be daft. Of course, it's given as a penalty. And that one yesterday, if that's West Ham versus Manchester United in front of the Stretford end, and that's Angelo Ogbonna, not Victor Lindelof, and it's Marcus Rashford who's played the ball in, and Ogbonna's done that. Penalty, you know it's being given. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. But for whatever reason, Stuart Atwell, assisted by Darren Cann, can't get that decision right, despite the fact there are multiple angles. They can zoom in on it, they can micro analyze it, and still to them there's no penalty, nothing to see here at all. And we go in at 1-0. Okay, fine, no problem. We start the second half and we're coming at them. We're creating problems. We're creating chances. Manchester United were as well. They played their part. It was a thrilling contest. Let's be honest. We put the ball in the back of the net, and I jumped up and cheered as you do when Michail Antonio puts the ball in past David De Gea. He wheels away. David De Gea's on the floor, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. Disallowed. I'm thinking, really? Okay, let's have a look at this. Now, go and have a look at it, right? If anyone hasn't, go and have a look at the footage. De Gea collapses like an absolute deck of cards in a hurricane, right? He collapses under what I would consider to be, now, okay, Michail Antonio, he's not a small man, but it was really minimal contact. For what sort of contact a goalkeeper in the Premier League should be expected to withstand, that was minimal. That was minimal contact. The referee couldn't wait to overturn it once the ball had been put in the back of the net. Just unbelievable. I ask you this. If that contact is reversed, and if that contact was exactly the same coming from David De Gea on Michail Antonio, right? Is that given as a foul? Therefore, is it a penalty? Now, I think if that was completely reversed, exactly the same angles, exactly the same contact, exactly the same level of impact, and Michail Antonio went down in the fashion that David De Gea went down in, does Peter Banks blow his whistle and point to the spot and give us a penalty? No. And actually, if that had have been the case, I actually don't think it would have been a penalty. It shouldn't have been a penalty for me because there was nothing wrong with the contact. There was nothing wrong with the challenge. It wasn't over exuberant. It wasn't dangerous. Football is, and I know that the powers that be are trying to change this, but football is a contact sport at its heart. You can't play association football and there not be contact between you and one of your opposition number. It's impossible. Okay, this is not chess. This is not where you're completely at a distance from your opponent. That's not the way this is. There's going to be an amount of contact that you are going to have to just accept as part and parcel of the game, and that contact wasn't a foul. And I'd have said that if it was completely reversed the other way, and that was David De Gea making that impact on Michail Antonio, I would say, yes, that's not a penalty for me. It needs to be a bit more than that. He chalked that one off. He couldn't wait, honestly. And yes, okay, we've got the 3 points, but be that as it may, it was despite the officials, not because of them. And these officials are paid an awful lot of money. It's not like back in the day when these officials were getting paid, in a little brown envelope, like a couple of quid, and then they'd referee a top flight game, and then they'd go to their jobs as an accountant or a bank manager or whatever it was. These guys are paid very, very handsome amounts of money to officiate Premier League games, and they are doing so, I believe. I mean, and Duke said it. He doesn't think I was of the opinion it's an unconscious bias. I'm now beginning to think there's something a little bit more sinister at play. I don't want to, because I want to believe that we have officials in this country that are the cleanest, the best in the world. You hear of stories about referees in Spain or referees in Italy that years later it comes out that they were given a little backhander for disallowing a goal here, or giving a goal that shouldn't have been given there, or sending a player off, or whatever it might be. You hear these stories and we all sit there and we go, haha, it would never happen in this country. Do you know what? I'm not entirely convinced. Not entirely convinced. It's the old saying, isn't it? Follow the money. Follow the money. He who pays the piper calls the tune. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, look, reasons to be cheerful. I've had a little bit of a rant. And probably some people are sitting there and thinking, well, we won, and we've essentially all but mathematically guaranteed that we're going to be a Premier League club this season. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to get it off my chest. I haven't seen any of your comments, so whether you're agreeing with me, disagreeing with me, whatever. But that's where I'm at. I'm just really disappointed with the level of officiating I've seen throughout the course of this season, not just yesterday. It's been really poor. And the more and more I see of it, the more and more I just sit there and go, there's an awful lot of decisions. I mean, 50-50 decisions should be exactly that, shouldn't they? 50% of them should go this way and 50% of them should go this way. That's what a 50-50 is at its essence. But when you have a 50-50 and it involves a top six club, it's incredible the amount of times that they profit from the decision in a 50-50 situation. It really is. And it's quite concerning. It really is. But like I say, we've pretty much guaranteed that we're going to be a Premier League club next season. I mean, as this is going out, Fulham are winning 4-1 against Leicester City, 64th minute, which will mean that 20th upwards, I think we can probably say Southampton have gone there. They're 34 played, 24 points. You've then got Everton, 34, 29 points. 34 games, for 30 points for Nottingham Forest. Leeds United under that wonderful, wonderful next big thing of a manager in Sam Allardyce. 35 played and 30 points. Their goal difference of minus 25. Leicester, despite the fact they're losing, they're not going to drop below where they are at the minute, which is 16th. Their goal difference is at the minute far superior to the teams that are below them. And there we are, sitting on 15th, which, look, we can't lie. Let's be honest. That's not a position that any of us thought we'd be in this season before a ball was kicked when we made all those signings on the back of the 2 seasons that we'd had previously. But we are where we are. We're not where we want to be. But there we are, 15th place, 35 points. 35 played, 37 points, minus 12 goal difference. Now, mathematically, we still could go down. Mathematically. But realistically, it's not going to happen. When you look at who the other teams are playing, when you look at their form, it's like you're going to need a number of teams, not just one. You're going to need a number of teams to all simultaneously go on a run for the last 3 or 4 games of the season. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But as I speak, the EFL Championship, which is obviously the division below the Premier League, well, they're having their final day of the regular season. Well, it's interesting because at half-time, our dear rivals, Millwall Football Club, were winning 3-1 at the Den against Blackburn Rovers. But now I've literally just flicked onto this, 67 minutes in, and it's now 3-3, which means that dear old Millwall are going to finish 8th. If the results that are as they are now stay until the 90th minute, right now Millwall are 8th place. Well, the playoff places go from 3rd to 6th, which would mean they would miss out. Would I like to see Millwall in the Premier League? No, not really. Not really. I don't really see. I think there's other teams that would be more of an attraction to the Premier League as a product. Obviously, from a rivalry point of view, I'd go maybe, but I mean, there's a chat that I'm on, and we very rarely have occupied the same division, West Ham and Millwall, for probably the bulk of the last 70 years. There's been the odd season here and there where we found ourselves in the same division. It's usually been because we've dropped down the division rather than we've gone up or they've gone up, whatever. But every time we do cross paths, the rivalry is still as intense as it ever was. And I don't think that will change just, if there's another season where Millwall find themselves a championship club. But look, it might turn around. I mean, at the minute, the only reason that they're not going to finish in the playoff places is purely because of their goal difference is inferior to Sunderland, who are the last team that occupy the playoff places. And they're currently winning 2-0. So, but obviously, a goal would change that. If Millwall score a goal, they get an extra 2 points, which would put them on 71, which would mean they would jump into 5th place, as it turns out, which is currently occupied by Coventry City. But there's lots and lots to play for. So, yeah, anyway. Let me have a little look at your comments, guys. By the way, I've been rabbiting on for a little while, and you may already be aware of this, but if you happen to be watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, Twitter even, go onto the YouTube page. There's actually a man of the match poll that's running. You might have already voted. If you have, fine, but if you haven't, nip across to the YouTube channel, and while you're there, just pop a like on that. Right, let me wind back and have a little look at your comments. I'm going to try and plow through this as quickly as possible, guys. Hope you're well, Joan. Good afternoon, fellas. Only me today, I'm afraid. Only me, but we are hopefully now safe. I think we probably are. Good afternoon, Gatesy in chat room. Looks like Leicester don't want to stay up. Yeah, they're taking a little bit of a battering, aren't they? Milesy, hope you're well, mate. Can we just make this clear? Declan Rice is averaged in his £50 million at best. I sense that he's got tongue planted firmly in cheek. Hope you're doing well, usual suspect. Hello, Doug. Thank you very much. And we did you a little bit of a favour as well while we was at it. Not just the fact that we beat your big rivals, but it's kind of left the door a little bit open for you guys to maybe capitalise on. Me too, mate. Me too. Tilo Kera should be on the man of the match list. It was a tough one, to be honest with you, mate. I've got to be honest with you. Personally, I'm of the opinion Declan Rice is, for me, he's my pick as the man of the match. But it's a tough one. I mean, as I say, Benny obviously got the only goal of the match. But I do think that Kera very arguably had his best match in a claret and blue shirt. I thought Fabianski pulled off some great saves to keep it a clean sheet intact. Yeah, I mean, look, there's not a player that I think shouldn't have been in consideration. I really don't. And I could only pick 4. So, it's one of those shattered like a pane of glass. Rice isn't worth 10 million. Yeah, I would say it was even worse than that, mate. It really was. Hope you're doing well, Cliff. Hope you are well. 3 up against Foxes. This was obviously a little while ago, ladies and gentlemen. VAR has given Liverpool 9 points, plus 9 points, and West Ham -7. There you go. Well, that says it all, really, doesn't it? Anyway, I do hope De Gea is okay after that severe assault by Antonio. It was obviously so badly. As I say, and I don't know whether you're still there or whether you even heard the comment that I made. If it was completely round the other way, if that was Antonio getting taken out in inverted commas, because it wasn't taken out, let's be honest, it's contact. But if that was completely reversed, exactly the same, just reversed around, that De Gea did that on Antonio, is that given as a penalty? It absolutely isn't, and neither should it have been. So therefore, it shouldn't have been given as a free kick against De Gea, and the goal should have stood. Yes, I thought he was excellent, and I do wonder whether maybe now he might start to, because at the minute I think Kufau's off potentially. Although I heard someone say there's possibly an extension that can be activated. I don't know, but Could it be that he could be our right back next season? Who knows? Funny how some commentators were saying they were tired due to the amount of games Man United played this season, but no mention of how many. Yeah, I picked up on that. Yeah, it was like, oh, they've played X amount of games. I was sitting there going, well, we've played a fair amount ourselves. I mean, okay, they won the League Cup. They've got all the way to the final of the FA Cup, but we've had a bit of a slog of it, in Europe and everything. But they like to try and paint the narrative that the top six teams, when they lose, they're hard done by, and it was all because of a mistake, rather than the other team were just better. That's the thing. And I think we were better. I mean, look, I'll tell you what. Before I go into this too much, let's just hang on. Right, get rid of that. I did do me prep. I mean, you look at those stats there. I mean, yeah, you could turn around and go, oh, well, West Ham only had 35% possession as the home team. I've said this many times. I'll say it again. Possession without penetration and purpose is pointless. And we have gone back to the old West Ham. We've gone back to what we did that worked for us for the bulk of the last 2 years. And there it is for all to see. Despite the fact we had 35% of the possession, look what we did with it. We had 15 shots to their 19. Well, if they mustered only 4 shots more with just under double the amount of possession, what the hell were they doing with the ball? Were they just, they're just sort of like going side to side, backwards, whatever. We was efficient. We had that amount, that's there. Our expected goals. Now, again, all right, I'm not a great one for this expected goal stat, but a lot of people say that actually that is something of a barometer, a little bit of a marker down as to which team were creating opportunities. And there it is. If it is something that you gravitate towards, we was on top as far as that was concerned. So, yeah, I mean, a number of these stats that you'll look at and you'll go, oh, actually, yeah, that paints us in a very good light. But as I say, Sky Sports on their YouTube channel, it was all down to De Gea's howler. It was nothing to do. All these stats are completely bogus, ladies and gentlemen. As far as Sky Sports are concerned, it was purely De Gea's howler. Yes, okay, he slipped. Yes, okay, the goal looks bad. And yes, Benny will hit better strikes than that and not score. But be that as it may, you look at these stats and it's like, look, we didn't just have just that one shot. We didn't just have a slice of luck. We worked bloody hard. Yeah, it'd be quite nice to get a little bit of recognition for that, wouldn't it? I mean, again, look at the stats on the duels, for Christ's sakes. We are superior in every single department in that particular column. Duels 1, ground duels 1, aerial duels 1, and successful dribbles. Each one of them, we were superior to Manchester United. And yet, all you hear is how unlucky Manchester United were, how dominant they were against us, how lucky we were. And as for this fella, I mean, yeah, I mean, again, you got supporters of other clubs, mainly top 6 clubs, saying that they don't think that he's all that. Souness and Keane, they're the first ones to give him a little bit of clog and all the rest of it. And they say he doesn't score enough goals. I don't know if they realise this. He's actually a defensive midfielder. His job isn't to create goals. And you'll look at a lot of these stats that are offensive stats and go, well, they don't look particularly great. They don't paint him in a particularly great light. But then when you sort of wind forward and you see some of the defensive stats, you sort of go, oh, hang on a minute. Maybe sort of like he is as good as the West Ham fans and everybody to do with West Ham United say that he is. I mean, have a look at this. He's 7 passes into the final third for a defensive mid. 4 out of 5 successful dribbles, 60 touches. He was involved very heavily. He even took a corner. Look at that. Declan Rice, if he goes in the summer, and I'm braced it's going to happen. I'm fully expecting it to happen. And I don't want it to happen, but I understand that for his career and as a footballer, it is a short career. And I don't think that he would leave purely for the money, purely for the riches. I think if he's going to go because he wants to win Premier League titles. He wants to win Champions League titles. And I've got no problem with that. You know, a guy wants to better himself. He wants to make the best of his career so that when he's retired and he's sitting there with his grandchild on his knee, Granddad, what did you do when you was younger? Well, I used to play Premier League football, and I tell you what, here's a Premier League winners medal, and here's a FA Cup winners medal, and here's a Champions League winners medal, and so on and so forth. And good luck to the kid. I mean, I hope he stays forever and a day, but I don't think it's going to happen, regrettably. I think that he's going to be off, and I wish him the best of luck. He's never ever come out and down tools. He's never ever come out openly and said, I want out of West Ham United. Yes, he gave an interview during the World Cup, which I was disappointed to hear, but in my heart of hearts, I probably knew that what he was saying wasn't unfair. Good luck to the kid. Really, good luck to the kid. Let's have a little look at your comments. De Gea got caught out. Looks like he's not comfortable in Ten Hag's system as a sweeper keeper. Yeah, I'm not too sure he'll be there much longer. That's not really my problem. Yeah, Brighton Everton. I think we probably all want a Brighton win there. Kehrer was a breath of fresh air. I was so worried when Kufal was injured. I think a lot of people were. Millwall 3-2. It's now 3-3, or at least it was when I last looked. Let me just cast my peepers. It's still 3-3 by the looks of this. So, yeah, 79 minutes now with that one. So, I mean, it could change. Good old Fulham. I'm surprised at that score. Yeah, you may say that, Richard. Moy said the players were knackered for Palace. So why not rotate then? You may very well ask that question, Joan. I bet Fulham man cashed out on 2-0. Should have left it. You should have done, Mandy. You'll know next time. Peter Banks is from Lancashire. Oh, is he? Is he? I never knew that. Now that's an interesting little piece of information. Yeah. Anyone with eyes would say it was a penalty. Yeah, he's the only one that says it wasn't a penalty, and he doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. So there's your barometer there. If he turns around and says something, then you kind of go the other way because he's completely fucking useless. Yeah, exactly. Coin flips, 50-50 decisions. It's incredible how many of them go to the top 6 teams. A 50-50 should be that there's as many that go for you as against you, and they don't. They absolutely don't. Yeah, I agree with that. Antonio's goal would have been given if Rashford scored it. Yeah, of course it would. Like I say, it would have been given if it was round the other way, or like I say, the other way I would put it is if it was completely the other way where De Gea makes that contact on Antonio, is that given as a penalty? And I think that's it's a rhetorical question because we all know the answer. The Chelsea one, yeah, Liverpool. There's so many that we can look at. Like I say, we can take stock now because obviously it's pretty much done that we're going to be a Premier League club this next season. But yeah, as I say, I've never been one that's wanted to bash referees. I've refereed in games. It's not easy. I understand you're going to get things wrong. But I think that now the excuses, reasons that they give, I just find them very, very difficult. There's always going to be, I mean, and I said this when VAR came in, I said, look, there will still always be those grey area decisions. There will still always be those ones where they are matters of opinion and not matters of fact. And you will always get those ones that sometimes they go for you. VAR will never ever tidy that up. There are certain ones that are just sort of too close to call one way or the other. And a referee or VAR has got to make a decision. And again, this is something as well people say about, VAR's crap. It's like, well, the technology is perfectly fine. It's the people that are operating it. It's not the VAR. It's not the monitors. It's not the all of that's crap. It's the people that are operating it. And these are still the same referees that will take to the pitch that made the mistakes that they always used to do. So Tommy reckons it was Kehrer that was man of the match. As I say, I agonised as to who to put on that list of 4. So I mean, if you think Kehrer was man of the match, don't vote. If your man isn't there, then just sort of let everybody else take care of it. As I say, I did agonise as to who to put it. To be honest, I could have put 11 names on there yesterday. As far as that was concerned, Tom, he was really one of the standout performers. Was Kehrer. I thought, like I say, Fabianski did well when he was called upon. He's only been there 5 minutes. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. But then again, nothing would surprise me anymore. He's been back on beast mode for a little while, and it seems to have coincided with a little bit of an upturn in our performances. It has to be said, but anyway, like I say, so hopefully we can all now relax a little bit. I mean, we've got 3 games left. We're obviously away against Brentford. We've then got the last home game of the season against Leeds United, and their world-class super manager, Mr. Allardyce. Yeah, we can kind of go into that and just be like, whatever, doesn't really matter. I just looked at Graham Souness's career number, 73 goals. Yeah, exactly. And he played in that position as well. I mean, what's that? I mean, that's a little bit better than a goal every 10 point whatever games. Yeah, I mean, it really does make you giggle, doesn't it? You know, he needs to be scoring more goals. You do realise that he is a defensive midfield. Half day. I wish. No, not at all. Not at all. I don't believe VAR is corrupt in the sense that there is a conspiracy amongst officials, but I do believe it's corrupt in the sense officials have an unconscious bias towards certain teams. Do you know what? I used to think that, but the more and more I see decisions that are absolutely bang on plumb that are not given, and even the VAR isn't giving it. Like I say, the ones that Brighton didn't get against Tottenham, the handball against that we should have had as a penalty against Liverpool, the ones yesterday, the goal chalked off by Antonio, and the penalty that wasn't given, the goal against Chelsea. There's a common theme. There is a common theme. They all involve the top 6 clubs. Duke was on a little while ago saying that the Premier League want the status quo to be maintained, and a little while ago I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to think that our officials were the best in the world and were beyond reproach. Unfortunately, the more and more I see of decisions that the VAR is getting wrong, and that's the key. I'm not having a pop so much now of the guys on the pitch, because I understand how difficult it is to give these decisions or not to give these decisions. But the VAR, that's what the VAR is surely there for, to intervene in the real howlers. That's what it was always about. It was always about ironing out the howlers. Like I say, you're never going to get rid of contentious decisions. There will always be areas where they're a little bit grey area. They're not clear-cut decisions. This is clear-cut decisions that we are seeing, and they all seem to be favouring the top 6 teams. Like I say, the ones that Brighton didn't get against Tottenham, the one that we didn't get against Chelsea, against Liverpool, against Man United, the 2 yesterday. The list goes on and on and on. And like I say, I do think that there's something going on. I really do. I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing it's got something to do with money. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, look, I've been rabbiting on for long enough. I've been going for about 45 minutes on my own. I probably should have shot you actually a message, Tom, but to be honest with you, mate, I've been buzzing around like a lunatic trying to sort various bits and pieces out, and it didn't even enter my head, mate. I do apologise. I should have shot you across a what's name. Right, I'm going to disappear. I've been waffling on for long enough. As it says there, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts and new content. And as always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. And just as I say that, Mr. Ian Glander, hope you are well, sir. Millwall are losing 4-3. Ooh. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let me just have a little look here. Yes, they are. 87th minute. So they've gone from 3-1 up at half time. And with 3 minutes of the 90 left, they are now 4-3 down at home. Do you reckon that there could be a little bit of problems around the SE16 postcode area? I think there could be a little bit of noise around certain pubs. Yeah, as I say, the new job, mate, it's just been busy, very fulfilling. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I've been very, very busy, so not been as active on the old WhatsApp group that we both occupy as I normally would be. But anyway, I'm going to disappear, guys. As I say, it's been really lovely to have a little chat to you guys. And before we go, actually, I need to end the poll, don't I? Because otherwise that gets dumped. Right. So we got 33 votes. 49 minutes ago, I opened it. I'm going to end it right now with the click of the mouse. The winner there. Hang on. I'll tell you what, I can copy that on there and then put it in there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the result of the Man of the Match award yesterday. Rice got 63% of the vote, followed by Fabianski, Paquetá, and Ben Rama. A little surprised to see that Benny didn't get a little bit more than the 6%. I mean, he got the only goal. Yes, all right. It was a bit of a fluky goal. It was down to the De Gea slip, but it's the old saying, innit? You don't buy a ticket, you can't win the lottery. And to be honest, I thought he did an awful lot more than that. Ooh, ouch. That's not good for Leicester City, it has to be said. Obviously, being completely selfish about it, it's a great result for us because it's another match where Leicester can't pick up any ground on us. They got 3 games left, and there'll be 9 points that are available, and they're 7 points to the drift of us, but it's effectively 8 points because of the goal difference, really, as things stand at the minute. So yeah, we're safe. We're safe. I mean, look, if we went down in this current position, then we don't deserve to be a Premier League club next season. But there you go. Anyway, I am going to sod off. Please don't forget to give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. I'll see you next time. Come on, you Irons. Hopefully, Duke will be around for the next one, which will be, hang on, when's the next game? Hold on a minute. Hold on. The next match, I know it's against Brentford. Is it Sunday? Is the Brentford game Sunday or Saturday? Hang on, I'm just looking. Sunday the 14th. Okay, yeah, because we've got the oh no, we've got a European game. Okay, so we're going to have to do the Alkmaar preview on Wednesday then. Okay, right. So Wednesday evening, I'm guessing. So we'll see you Wednesday evening. Come on, you Irons. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend and give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity, as we always ask you to do. Toodle pip. Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Hey,